Yo, what's going on, YouTube? It's Private KJ back here with another video. Shot Callers Podcast back. Day 15, ladies, gentlemen, and ballers. Day 15, like I just said, Bradley Beal has not been traded. Let's keep it going. Now, tomorrow will be day 16, and I don't know when I'm going to stop this trend, but we're going to keep it going because y'all seem to love it. With that said, we had about 5 games. No, 4. Yeah, no, it was 5 games slated yesterday, so we're gonna all talk about. I'm gonna talk about basically all of them actually. There's a couple that I didn't watch the entire, but I was able to kind of go back and rewatch one of them and watch the highlights for another one. So I kind of got a good feel of really what happened for almost all the games. But with that said, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Turn on notification, gang. No gang in the building. Okay. Live stream will be Sunday. I didn't want to forget that or anything. At 12 o'clock. Stay tuned. Me and Cardi will be debating. Not really debating, but just talking. Calmly talking, playing some 2K, playing some Matter, whatever he wants to do. Just kind of relaxing. I hope you guys come out and come and have fun with it, basically. But with that said, we're going to be starting this take or this talk on the Jazz and the Hawks. 112-91, the Jazz won this game. Bogdanovich stepped up 21-6. He's been killing it recently. I love seeing the Jazz with Bogdanovich because he adds a different dimension to this team. Not that they don't already have 3-point shooting, but I truly thought that he was the second or third scoring option on any given night of this team. So it is nice to see that. Now Donovan Mitchell didn't shoot his best, but it didn't matter. Other players stepped up. Mike Conley didn't also. Actually, he did shoot pretty well. He just didn't shoot the ball very much. That's my fault. But yeah, other players stepped up. Jordan Clarkson, Derek Favors. Jordan Clarkson, though, is the sixth man of the year candidate so far. Shout out to him. He deserves it right now. For the Hawks, though, this was just not a great shooting performance from John Collins. He didn't really step up in Trae Young's absence. Kevin Huerter, 16. Cam Reddish, 12 on bad shooting. It's very interesting to see, though, that, like I mentioned yesterday, the Hawks really aren't a good team without Trae Young. And I also want to mention, does anyone else get frustrated watching Cam Reddish? Because he could actually be so good. Like, he has the arsenal in his bag for, the NBA, and then he just doesn't hit the shots. And it's so weird to me. Like, he literally just is like Jordan Clarkson without the shot making. Like, it's just so odd to me because he does all this stuff to get open because he can take his man up the dribble. He can shoot the ball. I mean, he clearly hasn't been able to shoot the ball very consistently or very good or efficiently. But it's like everything is there except the ball doesn't go in the rim, and it's so weird to me. But anyways, that was really just it. The Jazz shot pretty well. The Hawks really didn't shoot all that well. But then again, I don't really think the Hawks had anyone to really shoot the lights out without Trae Young there. But anyways. Next up, though, we have the Warriors and the Mavericks, and oh my lord, were the Warriors hot this game. 22 3-pointers on the night. Kelly Oubre, 40 points. Curry, 28. Wiggins, 18. I remember watching in the fourth quarter when it was already a blowout at the point. It was the last 4 minutes, and they just kept hitting 3 after 3 after 3. And I'm watching the Mavericks in this lineup with Boban and Willie Cauley-Stein running a 2-3 zone, and I'm just thinking wow, what are you guys why? I guess the game was already over, so it didn't really matter. But I'm just thinking why are you doing this? You're gonna what are you doing? They were just on fire. It was pretty cool to watch. Draymond is starting to really pick it back up statistically wise. Not that I'm saying that he's been just shooting the ball extremely efficiency, but 6 rebounds, 15 assists. Oh my lord. Truly amazing. Shout out to Juan. Sorry I mispronounced this. Toscano Anderson, another 14, 8 and 5. Playing well off the bench. Actually, no, he started today. I'm sorry about that. Damian Lee, 17 points. Michael Mulder, 12 points. It was just truly amazing seeing all these players chip in with Looney out, Pascal out, Wiseman out, Klay Thompson out, obviously. So that was pretty amazing. Now, for the Mavericks side, I was truly shocked because they actually hit 23 pointers. And it's so weird to me because I just looked at the stats, but when I was watching the game, it just didn't seem like it. It was just really odd. I just didn't expect them that they actually hit 23s. But with that said, Luka had 27, 6 and 6. Good 3-point shooting, but Porzingis at least stepped up today. But it was just their role players. I mean, like Tim Hardaway and Brunson chipped in 19 and 18, but outside of those four, like no one else really like did anything for that matter. And that just wasn't enough scoring. Now they did score 116 points, but at the end of the day, when you're giving up 147 points, you're not going to win. That's really all I have to say about that. It was just poor defensive effort on that end of the floor and poor defensive execution. For the 76ers and the Trailblazers, though, Gary Trent, 24 points. Carmelo Anthony, 22 points. This was just an overall, all-around game for the Trailblazers. Wow, I don't know why. I was about to say 76ers. For the Trailblazers, with no Lillard, no McCollum, no Nurkic. It was pretty cool to see that they had multiple different people step up and play together. For this, though, I kind of want to go talk about the 76ers side of this because it's interesting to see how they weren't really blown out if you actually look at the score, but it was surprising to me how poorly they played without Ben Simmons. Now, Joel Embiid had 37 and 5. Don't get me wrong. He did his part. But it's very interesting to see how literally outside of Tyrese Maxey, no one else really had that great of a game. Shake Milton shot 44% from 3. I had 12 points with 0% from 3. Korkmaz bad shooting. Tobias Harris bad shooting. Danny Green bad shooting. Seth Curry didn't even make a shot. And it's funny because it's so ironic how people are so quick to get on Ben Simmons. Oh, we couldn't win without Joel Embiid. Are we sure Joel Embiid can't win without Ben Simmons? I think it goes hand in hand here. I just want to kind of just touch on this really shortly. I'm not saying that's not true, but what I'm saying is people need to understand Ben Simmons' impact is not centered around his scoring. We get it. He needs to be more aggressive on offense. He needs to develop a jump shot. But do people not realize he's an elite player even without the shooting and the aggression? Like, I don't think people understand he's an elite, like, all-team, first-team all-defense type defender. He's an elite playmaker. He's an elite rebounder. He's elite court vision. He can run the floor. He can run the pick and roll as the big man, as a roll man, or as the guard. And I don't know. I just feel like people undervalue Ben Simmons just because of those main. Now I understand those flaws are severe; those are big flaws. But at the same time, like let's stop acting like Ben Simmons isn't some what top 20 to 25 player in the NBA. Like, come on. He might be better than that. I gotta really just come up with my list of players. I was just like in my head off the bat. So yeah, it was just interesting to see because I could just tell they weren't getting the same open looks with when Ben Simmons wasn't there, and it was very apparent though. Next up though, we have the Rockets versus the Grizzlies. These last two games are more kind of what I wanted to talk about. This was just another good shooting performance from Houston. 19 threes on the night. Eric Gordon has been stepping up recently, and I really like seeing that. Now, if he could stay healthy, that's the main question. But I enjoy seeing Eric Gordon, my bad, play that role where he can just score with no like drawbacks, no nothing. Like he can score the ball whenever he wants to. Shout out to Jayshawn Tate though. He's been a great role player who they picked up. I think he was undrafted too, so shout out to him. Christian Wood did leave with an ankle injury. I am praying this is not serious because Christian Wood has been amazing all year. And I called it that he was going to be good. I'm praying he's not. Like, it's not too bad. John Wall and Jason Tate, like I just said, stepped up big though. Sterling Brown, 13 points. Even though I did mention I'm hoping that Wood's not severely injured, I think DeMarcus Cousins can hold on the fort for the time being. They have the best defense, or maybe not anymore. I have to go recheck the stats. But they have a top defense in the league. And with their hot shooting and with their pace and three-point attempts, it will always keep them in games. Now, for the Grizzlies side, though, it's a little difficult when you are... Because at one point, they did finish the game on 12 threes. And I know I brought up the three-point stat a lot today, but it was at one point where they only had like 7 threes made, and it was like towards the fourth quarter. So because I did turn the game off for like a little bit just to like get the first minutes of the first half of the Lakers game, but it was really weird to me because they just couldn't get up any threes. John Morant though, Dylan Brooks didn't have the best shooting game, but they had multiple role players kind of step up in their absence. But I'm really hoping that Valanciunas comes back sooner rather than later. I think they really do miss him. Nothing against Xavier Tillman, but I think that veteran presence and leadership, I think Valanciunas is kind of a center in the league, actually. Added to the fact that Jaren Jackson Jr. needs to be back. Justice Winslow hasn't even played. I'm curious to see why Grayson Allen didn't play, though. I have to go check if he's hurt or not. But they're just missing so many pieces, and yet they're still playing as well as they have so far this year. So it's been pretty impressive. I want to keep that one a little short too. No, I think about it. There's really not much to talk about. Lastly, though, we have the Lakers versus the Nuggets. Lakers win 114-93. The Nuggets kept it a game, and they were actually winning by like 8 or 7 points or something like that in the first half. But in the end, it's the Lakers. Their defense will propel them to victories, and that's exactly what happened today. Jokic was not as dominant as you would think. He had 13, 10, and 6, but like 37% shooting from the field. It was just great team defense on Jokic. It was really cool to see the type of them play that type of defense that they will be doing in the playoffs. Where I remember specifically, so it was a Jokic, Jamal Murray pick and roll. I'm closing my eyes so I can try to remember this correctly. Schroeder switches on Jokic, okay, and Marc Gasol picks up Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray can't get open. He dumps it down to Jokic, okay. A trap double team comes from Anthony Davis off weak side block. Okay, they have the guy who rotates in the corner. It was LeBron actually, because he's big enough to guard that guy. He rotates from that corner. This guy was more like in between the corner and the hash, like that little smidget between the corner and the hash. He rotates from there to drop down and picks up Paul Millsap, and Schroeder rotates all the way from guarding Jokic on the post to that weak side corner that LeBron's man was guarding, and it was truly remarkable to see. When they're defensively engaged, that is a tough team to score on. They're just so smart. Marc Gasol was able to move his feet very well and didn't let Murray go past him, and it resulted in a Jokic kind of kicking. It was a Jokic kind of like contested like layup floater type thing, and it was pretty contested. It was a tough shot, and they weren't able to get the board, but Paul Millsap got the board, but LeBron was on him, and it didn't really matter. They got to stop and were out running, and it was truly remarkable. That's not like for casuals, maybe that's like kind of a little much, but for people who truly know like NBA, when players in the like games are like locked in, like teams are locked in like that, playing like playoff type basketball, it's like little things like that, because those are some big rotations right there that I like seeing, because that's what championship teams do. That's not like an intense or a big type of rotation, but it's like just things like that is what makes a championship team, and it was very cool to see that. But for the Nuggets side, I'm very nervous that this could be the Nuggets ceiling. Now, obviously, we have to be patient on Michael Porter Jr., but for the time being, because Michael Porter Jr. obviously is still young, are we sure that MPJ fits their timeline? Like, I get the Nuggets want to win now, but with the roster that they currently have, they're not a championship team. They are a 3 to 4 seed, but they're not beating the Lakers, the Clippers, and maybe the Jazz. At least the Lakers and Clippers for sure. I know they beat the Clippers last year, but I truly think that that under the radar dog, instead of having the spotlight on the Clippers, I think they would win now. But with that said, at least know they're not beating the Lakers, regardless of if you want to argue that. So I'm very curious. Leave your comments down below what you think of the Nuggets. I truly think that they hit their ceiling. I think they need a trade for a third player, maybe package MPJ if they want to win a championship now. Otherwise, they got to kind of just accept reality. But with that said, that will conclude today's video. Today is Friday, February 5th, so we're going to be tuning into those games today. I do work today, so we'll see how many games I can watch on the road. I could probably just listen to them, to be honest. But yep, that'll conclude the video. Don't forget to leave a like. Live stream starts Sunday at 12, like I said earlier. And that'll be it. Private KJ out.